Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode or chapter of Loser. So if you remember in chapter 8, Zink Off got a new baby sister who got 2 stars when she was born, and Donald looks at his mom and goes, 2 stars? And she goes, yes, and he goes, why? And she says, because she was born. Which prompts Donald to ask, was I born? Yes. Did I get 2 stars? I didn't give stars then. So, but remember, Mom did make a promise to Donald that someday when he really needed his 2 stars, she'd give them to them. And we said that perhaps that's foreshadowing, meaning he'll get 2 stars later in the story, just not right then. The other thing that happened was that the Zink Offs get some new neighbors, the Orwells, and they have a son about Donald's age. So Mom brings over a cake to say welcome to the neighborhood, and Donald goes with her. And Andrew doesn't come out, and his mom tells Donald, well, he's not really excited about being here, and he's not leaving his room. And so Donald thinks the best way to get him out of his room is to bring him a welcome cookie. So Donald decides to give him his favorite cookie, the Snickerdoodle, which he makes to be about the size of a cookie sheet. If you remember, like, the type of thing that your parents put in the oven to put cookies on, he makes a cookie that entire size. That's crazy. So Donald goes to bring it over to him, and Andrew comes out, and he's actually pretty okay with the cookie at first, but when Donald takes it off the pan, it all falls apart. Ah! And Andrew gets mad, and he goes, you wrecked my cookie! And Donald doesn't really know what to say, but he's sorry and picks up the pieces, and Andrew's not interested, which causes Donald to take it out to the front step of his own house, and as people walk by, he's just like, hey, you want some Snickerdoodle? Do you want some Snickerdoodle? And he winds up eating a whole lot of it himself, so much so that when his dad comes home, Donald pukes in his dad's mailbag. And remember, we said that was an inference because the author didn't tell us that he ate too much cookie, but we can tell based on the events in the story that he definitely ate too much cookie and then puked in his dad's mailbag. So now we pick up with Chapter 9, and Chapter 9 is titled Champions. Soccer is Zink Off's game. Baseball has too much waiting and too many straight lines. Shooting a basketball demands precision, and football is only fun for the ball carrier. But soccer is a free-for-all, as haphazard and slapdash as Zink Off himself. He plays in the Pee Wee League in the autumn of his 7th year. His team is the Titans, and every Saturday morning he's the first one there, kicking pine cones around the field until the coaches show up. Once the game begins, Zink Off never stops running. He zigs and zags after the checkered ball like a fox after a field mouse. Except he hardly ever catches up to it. Someone else always seems to reach it first. Zink Off is forever swinging his foot at the ball a half second after it goes past him. He winds up kicking the shins and ankles and rear ends of the other players. Twice he's kicked the referee, and once, somehow, he kicked himself. His teammates rub their bruises and call him Wildfoot. Now, the author used a simile right there when he said that Donald chases after the ball the way a fox chases after a field mouse. Which is kind of cool because foxes, remember, are predators. They're animals that eat other animals, and a field mouse would run away from them, so the fox wants to get it badly. In the same way, Zink Off tries to get the ball. Oh. And a simile always uses a comparison between two things using the words like or as. There you go. Don't tell your parents that you know that yet, though. Okay, now, to Zink Off, a net is a net. He doesn't much care which team the net belongs to. Several times during the season, he kicks the ball at the wrong goal. Fortunately, he always misses. The first game is against the Ramblers. When it's over, Zink Off jumps up and down and pumps his fist as he's seen the athletes do and yells, Yahoo! He does not notice that he's the only Titan cheering. What are you so happy for? Says Robert, one of his teammates. We lost! This is news to Zink Off. Throughout the game, and even at the end, he has not thought about the score. Apparently, losing has made Robert very unhappy. It shows on his face, and it shows in the way he's kicking at the turf. Zink Off looks around. Other Titans are kicking turf or stomping their feet or pounding their thighs with their fists. Every Titan wears a sourpuss. A sourpuss is like a... And remember how earlier in the story they talked about how Donald doesn't really notice who wins and loses. He's just happy to be there. Now is that time in life where the other kids are beginning to notice. So, see what Zink Off does. And then the coach calls the Titans into a huddle and says, okay, on 3, yay Ramblers. 1, 2, 3. And Zink Off bellows, yay Ramblers, and adds, you the man. Yay, Ramblers, barely crawls from the lips of the other Titans. And then the coach is lining them up, and the Ramblers are in a line too, and the Titans and Ramblers are patting hands down the line like dominoes. Pat, 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 pat. No sourpusses on the Ramblers, who keep saying, good game, good game, good game. And Zink Off is the only Titan saying, good game, back. And then the Titans are heading for their parents on the sideline, and in order to show their parents what serious soccer players they are, they kick the turf some more and tear off their knee pads and shirts and throw them on the ground and stomp on them. One Titan even falls to his knees and bawls while pounding his head into the grass. Is how that would look. Zink Off wants to be a good Titan. He kicks at some turf too. His mother and father look on with mouths agape as he tears his shirt and shoes and finally his socks and stomps them all into the ground. He gets down on his knees and rips up grass and flings it into the air. He snatches the pacifier from baby Polly's mouth and hurls it onto the field. He pounds his fist into the ground and cries out, no, no, no! By now, other parents and players are watching. Zink Off's mother says, just what do you think you're doing? Zink Off looks up from his knees. I'm being mad because we lost. Baby Polly is bawling. Well, you can start being madder because this little demonstration will cost you your allowance for a week. And you have 5 seconds to bring that pacifier back. Now, I don't think Donald really meant all of that sadness, and we can tell that because of the way that he reacted after the game. It's not until he sees the other kids that he starts acting this way. I think it's almost better that Donald was his own person because he was showing a lot better sportsmanship, don't you? Well, let's keep going. Zink Off is determined to become a better loser. In the following weeks, he practices his losing in the backyard, but he never again gets a chance to show his stuff on Saturday, for the Titans win all of the rest of their games. No great thanks to Wildfoot. One time, amazingly, he finds himself alone with the ball in a clear field ahead of him. Propelled by an excitement of whistles and screams behind him, Wildfoot boots the ball on and on, never realizing he has long since gone out of bounds. He crosses 2 other soccer fields and is finally stopped in the parking lot. On another occasion, he throws up on the ball, which in turn causes 2 other players to throw up. It is after this incident that several Titans ask the coach if Zink Off can be traded to another team. But they are soon glad that it didn't happen. There's that word again, foreshadowing. What is Donald going to do? The last game of the season comes down to a playoff between the Titans and the Hornets. The Hornets also have lost only 1 game. The winner will be champion. The game goes as usual for Wildfoot. He runs around a lot, he swings his foot a lot, but seldom connects with the ball. Sometimes he makes himself dizzy running in circles as he tries to keep up with the action swirling around him. Late in the second half, the score is still 0-0. Zink Off is standing in front of the Hornets' net, wondering where the ball is, when suddenly it hits him in the head. It bounces into the net for a goal, and Zink Off is instantly mobbed by cheering teammates. The final score is Titans 1, Hornets 0. The Titans are Pee-wee champions. The Titans go wild. They jump like kangaroos. Hey, there's that simile again. They jumped like kangaroos would jump. They fall onto their backs and turn their legs in the air. They ride their parents' shoulders and thrust up fingers and crow, "We're number 1!" Zink Off goes wild too. He tries to stand on his head. He shouts into baby Polly's face, "We're number 1!" and makes her blink. He climbs onto his father's shoulders and proclaims to all the wide world, "We're number 1!" And then he looks down and sees the face of Andrew Orwell, his neighbor. Andrew is a Hornet. Zink Off has never seen a sadder face in his life. It reminds him of a monkey's face. He begins to notice the other Hornets in their black and yellow shirts. They are slumped on the grass. They are slumped over their parents' knees. Not one of them rides a shoulder. Everyone is monkey-faced and crying and slumpy. They give out the trophies. Every Titan gets one. Zink Off has never won a trophy before. It's a golden soccer player on a black pedestal with a golden soccer ball at his foot. It glows as if it has been painted in sunlight. It is the most beautiful thing he has ever seen. Zink Off sees the other Titans kissing their trophy, so he kisses his too. As he does so, he sees the Hornets slumping away to the parking lot. And suddenly, he's running. He's yelling, "Andrew! Andrew! Charisse and Andrew turn in the parking lot, and Zink Off runs huffing up to them. "Andrew, here!" And he holds out the trophy. The look in Andrew's eyes tells him he has done the right thing. You take it. Andrew reaches for it, but his mother catches his wrist. Donald, that is really nice of you, but you're the one who won it. Andrew will win a trophy of his own someday. Andrew's fingers are curled like claws. They can feel the golden trophy inches away, and as his mother leads him off to the car, he cries out, I won it! That afternoon, Zink Off sits on his back step. The trophy is beside him, brighter than ever. Zink Off is playing a game he invented called Bugs on a Stick. In the next yard, Andrew sits cross-legged by a bed of purple pansies. He cradles his chin in his hands. His face is still sad. Zink Off calls, Want to play my game? Andrew shakes his head. Want to go in the alley? Andrew shakes his head. Zink Off asks Andrew many questions, but all Andrew does is shake his head and look monkey-faced. After a while, Zink Off gets tired of his game, and he looks at Andrew. He can think of nothing else to say. By now, Zink Off is sad too. Not just because Andrew is sad, but for another reason. The soccer season is over. The playing, that has been the best part of it. Playing the games. He wishes he could make himself feel less sad. He picks up his trophy and goes inside. A minute later, he opens the back door and places the trophy on the step and goes back in. When he comes out later that day, the trophy is gone. I wonder who took it. Perhaps you can make an inference. Well, that's it for today, kiddos. Look out for Chapter 10 tomorrow. Bye.